So as I told you last time, we spoke about writing in general. So today, inshallah, we're going to speak about writing in a specific way, specifically. So here, there are different kinds of essays. Like we said that there are number one, for example, narrative essay. Narrative, and narrative means this is so small, so I'm going to make it bigger. Narrative means what? A story. When you tell a story, it is not asked. Like no one is going to ask you in IELTS exam or in a TOEFL exam or in any international exam to write a story. It doesn't happen. So a story, a novel, something related to chronological order, no. Biography, autobiography, no one is going to ask you to write about the life, like the story of someone who's famous, a famous person, no. The second one, like it's descriptive, and I said descriptive, you can describe a person, a place. Descriptive, like, of a person, a place, or a scene or a thing. No one is going to ask you to describe a person or describe a thing related to you or describe a scene, a situation, or describe, a thing. No one is going to ask you to do that, or a place, no. And also the third one is, we said, expository. An expository essay, this is the most important kind of essay, as I told you before. Why? Because all PhDs, all master degrees, basically everything we read is expository. I mean, why? Because expository means to expose. To expose means to uncover, to make people understand. So here we have cause and effect, we have problem and solution, we have advantage and disadvantage. So I'll try to slow down. Expository essay means what? When you have an essay to teach people, to inform people of a problem, or to highlight the similarities and differences between two things, or to speak about the advantages or merits and demerits of things. So it can be compare and contrast essay. It can be, let's say merits and demerits. It can be a problem and solutions. When you have a problem and solution essay, you got it? It can be solution. Solution. It can be advantage. I'm going to say advantages and advantages, advantages and disadvantages. Like it can be one of these. Here it can be what else? It can be we said cause and effect. It can be also cause and effect. Cause and effect. We ask you about, for example, the causes and effect of effects, not effect. Effects of smoking, for example. So also this one, it's out. Like we don't use it. Yes. Yes, Mahmoud, you have a problem? Yes.
I'm sorry, Miss Amal, I don't understand what's the difference between descriptive and expository.
A descriptive essay, when, for example, they ask you to describe a famous person, to write them, like, describe someone, describe how this person looks like from outside, physical characteristics, personality traits, the first impression. This is descriptive. When I say, for example, write an essay describing someone, So when you start like this essay, you say like who this person is related to you, and then you describe the physical appearance of this person, his height, his weight, the color of his eyes, his hair, and so on. And then you speak about the personality traits of this person. This person is supportive, understanding, helpful. You can say sensitive. Describe this person personally, the things that people can see. And then you speak about the impression, like the first impression you had when you saw this person for the first time. This is descriptive. For example, like if someone asked you to describe a place that you like the most. So you describe the place from the outside, and then the number of rooms, the color of the building, and so on. This is descriptive essay. So it has to do with a description of a place or a thing or a scene or a situation only. Describe something that you like. Describe your phone. So you have described the features of your phone, the color of your phone, like everything that you have on your phone. Like, I mean, not application, but like the features of the phone. This is descriptive. But expository, this one is not even in IELTS. It's just in speaking only. Only in speaking. Descriptive is used only in speaking. But expository, no. Expository is like analytical, to analyze. To analyze. What does to analyze? If I said, for example, compare and contrast, for example, like Riyadh and Cairo. So it means how both of them are similar and how both of them are different. You don't like, you speak about the weather, speak about the population, the people, speak about like the size, speak about like the climate, like speak about different things about both of them, how both of them are similar. For example, you would say you speak about facts. Expository, like when speaking facts, you highlight facts, so you have to be objective. Objective, objective. You have to be objective. It means what? Objective. It means neutral. It means what? Neutral. It means neutral.
Yes, it means that I'm not taking any of the two sides
Yes,
discussing
objective
this
it means,
matter.
yes, and neutral means what? Like you are not siding with anyone. You're not siding with anyone. Like we call it what? Impartial. Impartial. You know, so impartial means what? It means that you're not taking a side. You're not siding with anyone. For example, if like in descriptive essay, you can say that my mom is the best one ever in the world. She's the best mother ever. Why? Because she's your mom. So like descriptive motive speaking can be subjective. What does subjective mean? It means personal. This is your opinion. This is your opinion. It doesn't have to be fact. It's your opinion. You got it? But like expository, it has to be objective. You have to mention facts, studies, statistics, you know, like research, like, you know, science. Like you speak about science. You don't tell me my opinion. Like you don't tell me your opinion. When you speak about Cairo and, for example, and Riyadh, you'll say both of them are capitals. It is not an opinion. It's a fact. You know, it's a fact. I said like Riyadh is bigger than Cairo concerning size. It's a fact. It is not my opinion. If I said the number of people living in Cairo is much higher than the number of people or bigger than the number of people living in Riyadh, again, it's a fact. So in expository essay, you tell me facts. You mainly speaking, you base all like everything you mentioned on facts. Yeah, you can mention your opinion still, but you speak about facts. A problem and a solution will speak about a problem. You describe the problem in a realistic way, and then you speak about solutions. Again, facts. You know, and you can mention your opinion at the end in the conclusion. You can say which solution is the most effective one and why. Again, advantages and disadvantages of anything. Like here also, you can speak about facts. When I say the advantages and disadvantages of living abroad. So you say you have to say why living abroad can be good, why it can be good, and why it can be bad. Causes and effects. Like I can say what are the causes and effects. This is like kind of speaking, like it can also be in the test. And most students like hate it. Why? Because sometimes they can be interchangeable. I can say, for example, depression, the causes and effects of depression. So like sometimes the causes can be the effect and the effect can be the causes in sometimes, like, you know, in some situations. However,
I don't know the difference.
the difference between what causes and effects or what?
Yes. How can I focus on how to spotlight the causes and how to spotlight the effects and not
All of
uh,
them, you know, for example, like all of them have like one formula, all of them. Like, for example, like here, cause and effect, you write a clear-cut introduction. This is the first one. And then you have body one only highlighting causes. You can mention three causes. And body two only highlights effects. You can mention three effects. And the conclusion, write like your opinion. So you have like four bodies. Like in all of them, you can like, you know, this one, like compare and contrast and introduction, one body for similarities, and then one body for conclusion, for differences. In the problem, you speak about the problem, you know, introduce the problem, describe the problem, its effect, and then you can like mention the solution in a different paragraph. The same applies to advantage and disadvantages. Like you organize it as an introduction to break the ice with the reader, like mention the topic, and then body one for the advantages only, and then body two for disadvantages. The same applies to causes and effect. For sure, like every single one of them has different ways of writing, but I'm just telling you the simplest way in order not to be, you know, confused. Like here, but my point is here, like the one that which is more like commonly used in like it's so common in exams, like we call it argumentative. What does argumentative mean? Argumentative. What does it mean, argumentative? We said to argue. What does to argue mean? Mean to fight. Why? Because this one is not objective, is not neutral, it's not impartial. Like an argumentative essay, you have to be subjective. Like he asks you about your own opinion. Subjective. You know, you have to like, you know, you have to mention your own opinion. This is argumentative essay. And the argumentative essay, as I told you, my question is, why do you think argumentative? Why do you think argumentative is the kind which is mainly used in exams? Why not narrative? Why not descriptive? And why not like sometimes expository, but not all the time? So why it's number one in most international exams, the one which is highly recommended in exams? Why? Who knows? Why argumentative?
well, in my opinion, the reason why is because in argumentative topics, well, here I'm telling something or I'm saying something that's from the bottom of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like saying something that I've memorized or studied before the exam.
Mm-hmm. So what
Here,
about
like I'm putting my heart out. So I think that's why.
So what about
Well,
maybe, yes, maybe it could be, but like I'm telling you why, because like when you argue, you can use the three of them. Like you can include narrative essay, you can include narrative ideas, descriptive ideas, you can include like expositories, essays. What does it mean? Expository ideas. I mean, when, for example, if you said working mothers are good for communities or not, or like is it better for mothers to work? Do you agree or disagree? So in that case, you can use narrative, which means you can say a story or mention a story of someone that you know, and this person, she's a mother and she worked and she was successful. You can describe your own mom. If your mom is a working mother, you can describe your own mom. So in that case, use descriptive. And you can speak about, you can mention stories, and not stories, studies or research paper that highlight that topic, and found out that working mothers can be successful. For example, if you agree. So they found out that argumentative topics, argumentative essays can be very good because they can include all of them. They can be comprehensive. They can include narrative essay, descriptive essay, and expository essay. Not essays, narrative ideas, descriptive ideas, expository ideas, all of them. Another thing is it's hard to persuade your listener, like the one who read, like the reader. It is not only collecting ideas, you have to be persuasive. What does persuasive mean? Who knows? You have to be convincing. What does it mean, convincing?
To make you agree with my idea.
Very good. Persuasive or convincing, to convince you that I'm right. I have to be persuasive, which means you have to be smart enough to persuade the one who's reading your essay. So you can be shallow. This is one of the common problems in writing, that some students just like, they are so shallow. They write like, yeah, mothers should work. Why? Because like work is important to them. And then like, how can you persuade me that mothers can work if I am not already convinced? So here, like, it requires not only linguistic ability, but also it requires intelligence. And you have an already limited time. You don't have a lot of time. So that's why they pick argumentative, because it indicates both your linguistic ability and your degree, like your like, we could say intelligence, like your intelligence, so it indicates both. And so it means that you feel under stress because you have to. And yes, one of the point, like here, just I hope like I don't forget to tell you about it, but just here, argumentative, there are different kinds also of writing argumentative topics, but I will tell you the most important one for that exam. The one, like the first one is called one-sided essay, and this one called balanced. How do you know the difference? In one-sided essay, he asks you simply, to what extent, to what degree do you agree? Like, to what, do you agree or disagree? Like, to what extent do you agree? Or they sometimes ask you, do you agree or disagree? This is the first one. The second one, balance. No, they said discuss both opinion, and review, and just state yours. State your view, state your view. It means point of view. You got it? So like here we have this one. So here, the first one is one-sided, the second one is balanced. The one that we took as exam, like as homework was like balanced, because like it mentioned discuss both opinion. Does it mean that we have to write both of them in the same exact way? No. Both of them has a different way of writing. So today, inshallah, we're going to focus on the main ideas concerning each one of them. So let's start with one-sided. Do you agree or disagree? One time I read in one of the books that yes, you can say it's hard two sides. And it's really hard for me to say which one like to agree with or to agree on. So I think I can be in between. And then in the British Council in Cairo, I asked one of the examiners, he said, to tell you the truth, you have to be like, you have to have a clear-cut opinion. You have to be either you have to agree or disagree. And you have to support your point of view. I told him, what about being in between? He said it is not highly recommended. So I know that it's written in some books that you might say in the conclusion that you can agree and you may disagree based on the situation. This is so diplomatic. And an argumentative, you're not supposed to be that diplomatic. You have to be convincing. So how can you convince me? I know already that like each side of them has its own advantages. So you are not convincing me. And concerning balance, like you have to discuss both point of view. So now how do you write agree or disagree? Basically, let's say that when you write one-sided essay, it's better to write 5 paragraphs. And one of the problem here, I will just tell you about it. One paragraph. Number one, the first paragraph is an introduction. To write an introduction. You have to write an introduction. And then body one would be reason one. And body two, reason two. And body three, reason three. And then like you have to write conclusion. Today, inshallah, we're going to try how to write a conclusion, how to write an introduction. So here we have this one. We have 5 paragraphs. Like each paragraph has just one main idea. I saw some of your essays, and inshallah, as I told you, we're going to check most of them as much as we can, as many as possible, together, inshallah. And here we have this one. So when you write an introduction. Introduction shouldn't be very long. And one of the common mistakes of some students writing a very long introduction or writing a very short introduction. No, like this introduction can be from 2 to 3 sentences. That's all. From 2 to 3 sentences. And the conclusion is the same. The conclusion should be only 2 sentences. No more, no less, just 2 sentences. Why 2? If you like to have 7, so the more you write, the more you make mistakes. So it's better to stick to the point and to try to be, we call it what? Concise but precise. You know, remember this one, to be concise but precise. Concise, you call it that, concise, yet or but precise. What does it mean? It means like you have to be short yet accurate. But this is by but. You have to be short but accurate. It means what? Not under length. No, like you say whatever you would like to say, and like a few number of words, but not to be under, like to be under length. Like your essay shouldn't be under length. No, it means like not to speak a lot for no reason. This is how to write. Do you agree or disagree? And today, since like the one I sent you was balanced essay, I will just speak about this one in detail. So here we have 4 paragraphs, only 4 paragraphs. It's better to have just 4 paragraphs. So number 1, again, like this one, introduction. We have introduction. The same as this one. You can use the same introduction, no problem. It's about the same topic. And then body 2, not reason 1. Like reason 1 means what? For your opinion. So today, inshallah, we're going to speak about how to write an introduction and what is meant by reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. Like an introduction, you have here, like you have body 1, like you speak about the first point of view, which is the first point of view, like which is like you don't agree with which you don't agree. The first point of view, the one that you don't like. So you write the first point of view, you write only 3 sentences. The topic sentence, I'll tell you about it now, and the 2 reasons only. And then, like body 2, for body 2, you write the second point of view, like which is your opinion, point of view. It's one of the ways, okay? And then you write conclusion, you write your opinion again. You write your opinion in the conclusion. Again, the conclusion should be only 2 sentences, no more than like no more than that. Why? I'm telling you why. Number 1, the more like you write, the more you make mistakes. Like some people think the more they write, the more they will impress their examiners, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't go like that. It is not how it goes. Like seriously, like if the examiner like sees that you wrote like you had written or you have written like a lot, like it's you make your life much harder. Like remember, like again, put yourself in their positions, put yourself in their shoes. They have a lot of work to do. So if you're supposed to write 250 words and you already wrote 400 words, do you think it's much work for them? And for sure, they're not going to read every single word, but for sure they know that you made mistakes. And when you make mistakes, you lose marks. So the more you write, the more mistakes you will make, and the less grade you will get. And this is the problem for like advanced students. They always have very high expectations concerning the writing. I remember once one student said that he was shocked because when he saw his writing grade, like he told me that I thought my examiner will retire after reading. The examiner would retire after reading my essay. So, and like I dealt with very high students, very good students, very good students. They got maybe 8 and 8.5 in listening, reading, and speaking. When it came to writing, like they took just 6.5, which was like shocking. Again, why? Because like they speak a lot, they write a lot, and there's no need for that. So how to write the introduction? Simply, some of the mistakes that I saw in your essays, I'll just show you some of them. Like here, when you write the introduction, remember this one. Like here, I just like to, okay, remember this one. Remember this triangle, this one. This is the introduction. I can't say I'm not very good at drawing. Like try, like here, this one. Down. Like here, think of it as a triangle. This is the introduction. Think of the introduction as a triangle. Why a triangle? Like what I meant, this is the introduction. When you think about ideas, when you collect ideas, and this is supposed to be body 1. Body 1 should be like body 1, and body 2 should be like a rectangle or a square, whatever it is. And the conclusion should be like that. I don't like you to be confused, but this one. So here, this is the introduction, and this is the conclusion, and this is body 1. I'm not speaking about like the format. I'm speaking about the organization of ideas. What does it mean? It means when you start an essay, you should start with a generalized idea. You start with generalization. We start with generalization. Start with a general idea, but don't be too general. Like some of you, for example, like road sports sports are very important in our life. This is too general. I'm not speaking about the rule of sports. I'm speaking about the salaries of professional, like sports professional, professional players. So when you say speak about sports and how, like some of you wrote like that, sports are extremely important and like we should like play sport. It is not the topic. Like actually you're drifting, like this is off topic. This is too general. So you have to be general but not too general. So this is the introduction. So how can like write it? Like as I told you, start with a general idea. 2 sentences. You can write only 2 sentences. If you see like sample essays, you're going to try like to see 2 sentences or 3 sentences in the introduction. The introduction should not contain numbers. It shouldn't contain details. It shouldn't contain reasons. Some of you wrote in the introduction like, you know, it's extremely important because why? If you write like the causes and like the opinion, everything, like if you write the causes in the introduction, what are going to write later on? You will have nothing to write. You will have nothing to say. So the introduction mainly has 1 or 2 functions, just 2 functions. Put that in your mind. To break, like number 1, like the introduction, like used, like why? In order to break the ice with the reader. Number 1, like number 1 here, to break the ice with the reader. What does it mean? It means like, you know, to introduce the topic. That's it. To tell the reader that like this essay will be about so and so. Introduce your topic. And number 2, to mention your opinion, which is the most important one. To mention your opinion. The most important sentence in any essay, actually, the first sentence that the examiners read once like they see your essay, 2 things, like 1 sentence, the last sentence of the introduction. The most important sentence of any essay is the last sentence of the introduction. Why? Simply because this is the thesis statement. We call it, this is the thesis statement. You got it? This is the statement. This is the most important thing, the most important sentence. So like this is like they call it make or break, do or die. If you have a very strong thesis statement, you're going to have a very high mark, or let's say a good mark. If you don't have like a very good thesis statement, like you won't have more than 5, no matter that, like no matter what. Because like you don't know how to write. Like this one, they call it also dividing a sentence, because actually this is the same as umbrella. It covers all your essay. This is the last sentence of the introduction. You got it. So if you can't write it at the beginning, so leave a space at the beginning of your essay and just start writing about like the others. And once you finish it, you might have a good idea about your thesis statement. This is like the introduction. So the common mistakes in the introduction, I will show you. One of the common mistakes when writing, like here, for example, like I downloaded all your essays, but like I'll show you like this one, for example. Okay, what's the problem with this essay? Don't say it, just write it down. Like I will just read your message, like, you know, read like whatever you write in chat. So what's the problem with this essay? Here, like from the first look, what's the problem here? Anyone, you can write it. What do you think the problem is here?
The 2 words sports professionals are mentioned a lot.
No, I'm not speaking about such details. No. Like from the first look, without reading a single word, what's the problem here? Excellent. Excellent. Yusuf, Mahmoud, Mustafa, very good. Yes. You know, once I read an excellent essay. It was excellent. Like in all level, it was excellent. When you don't have from the first look, there is no introduction, there is no body 1, there is no body 2, there is no conclusion. So 1 mark is lost without hesitation, without feeling guilty. Like immediately from the very beginning. Like remember, as I told you, I forgot to use that. Yes, I told you like you have to have 4 paragraphs, a clear-cut introduction, a clear-cut body 1, a clear-cut body 2. If you like to add body 3, it's okay, and then a clear-cut conclusion. From the very beginning, if there is no paragraphing, if there is a poor controlling of paragraphing, 1 mark is lost before even reading a single word. Okay, so the first thing they do, like they always, as I told you, when you write your essay, put yourself again on the shoes of the one who's going to like evaluate your essay, I mean. So number 1, like make sure that you have clear-cut 4 paragraphs. This is number 1. And number 2, make sure that the last sentence of the introduction is strong enough. This is number 2. And number 3, count your full stops. Just, you know, count your full stops. You got it? You need to count your full stops. Like we always think that, yeah, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Count your full stops because we always forget about it. So that's why the first 5 minutes, you shouldn't do anything. The last 5 minutes, you shouldn't do anything. The first 5 minutes, you should make sure that you truly and fully understand the topic. This is one of the common mistakes. You know, make sure that you fully understand the topic. Like, don't say, no, there is no time to understand it. No, like actually, if you don't understand it, it will be off topic. So you will lose everything. So make sure that you understand the topic, read it once and twice and 3 times. Some students understand the topic partially. You got it. So what do you do in the introduction again? Make sure that you have a clear-cut introduction. This is number 1. So if the essay, for example, the examiner saw this one, what is the introduction? What is the last sentence of the introduction? There isn't any introduction. It's just 1 block, you know, 1 block of like, you know, it's just 1 essay, like, you know, it's just 1 paragraph. Like, you know, the paragraph, at least the maximum number of lines in any paragraph should be 15. This is the maximum, and it is not even recommended. For sure in SAT or in IELTS, it is not recommended at all. 15 lines is too many lines. What else? Like here in this essay, for example, like here, the same problem here. Look, what is the introduction? You got it? You see my point? So here there is no introduction. So if everything is okay and perfect, still 1 mark is lost. Why? Because there is no paragraphing. This is number one. No paragraphing, 1 mark is lost. You got it? So this is one of the common mistakes. So here we have tried the introduction. Another problem with the introduction, like this one, this, for example, this introduction is so short. You got it? And you shouldn't start with for me. As I told you, the introduction should be written as triangle, like this one. Remember this one, a triangle. Triangle. What does it mean? General idea about the topic, rephrasing of the question, and here you should write your opinion. The last sentence of the introduction. Don't start the essay with writing your opinion at the beginning. It is not recommended. If you like to have 7 or more, if you like to have a good mark in when it comes to IELTS, do not start like the essay with your opinion. Like you start with your essay. No, you don't. Like, you're not supposed to do that. So, for example, here and also this one. Remind, like, I remember because I forgot. I saw it here and I saw it also here. Like this one, etc. It's not allowed. Like here, look here, also here, etc. I guess here. See, you see this one again. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. Why? Because it's a formal piece of writing. As long as it's formal, do not use any short forms. Do not use any abbreviation, and do not like etc. If every time would like to write etc., it's better to write and many others, and many others, and many others. You got it? So like having very short introduction like this one is not recommended in exam. And how many essays here? Like how many paragraphs? Like one, this is a paragraph, and then another one, and then another one. So for sure, like here, like the examiners say, what is the organization here? Like there's no organization, even if it is good. And it is good. To tell you the truth, it is good. Like all your essays are good. I'm just highlighting the mistakes. You know what I mean? There is no evaluation at all. I'm just telling you about the mistakes to avoid, inshallah, next time. You got my point? You got it? Okay, so here we have this one. So if I don't write an introduction, like how can I mention my opinion? Where should I mention my opinion? I mention my opinion twice. Once the last sentence of the introduction, like the last sentence of the introduction, and like again the first sentence of the conclusion. No hook sentence. Yes, sometimes you can have hook sentence. Yes, we should like have a hook sentence at the beginning when you ask a question or use a quotation, but like out of my personal experience, there is no need for that in the exam. You know, like I mean, like hook, like in order to have a hook, this is so good if you have free time and if you're like, you know, writing an essay for college and somehow and a project for college. Yes, it's okay. You have like have all the means that enables you to have a hook sentence to start with a question. Yes, you can start with a question in the exam if you don't have any other ideas. But if you like to have a high mark, it's better not to use like, you know, a quotation. Yes, one more. If you use the quotation, like let's say that some students memorize some quotation to use the quotation, the number of the words used in the quotation is not counted. I mean, let's say that you write a quotation out of 30 words. Make sure that this number would be like, you know, it will be minus from the total number of words. Yes, Mahmoud, you have a question?
Yes, please. Miss Amal, I'm sorry, I don't understand what's a hook sentence.
Hook, like, you know hook? You know what does hook mean? Do you know what?
Yes,
You know
yes,
what?
I understand like a shank or something, but I
Yes,
don't
you know,
understand.
a hook, like, you know what? I'm supposed to say, do you know what hook means? Not what does it mean? Yeah, hook means what? Like, you know, when you go fishing, when you go hunting, like you have to use hook in order to attract fish, you know, the fish. So hook somehow a tool to attract animals, like as a bait. You got it?
Yeah.
So a hook
Mhm.
sentence, something that convince, like it's a sentence that convinces the reader to continue reading your essay. Something catchy or attractive, like the same as a poem.
I
Someone
see.
like it. So how can you attract your essay? There are creative ways to attract readers to your essay. Readers, like what? You can ask a question, you can use a quotation, you can start with a story. There are different ways. You got it? But the problem is the examiners like don't have to be attracted, you know? Your examiners, like they need to evaluate your essay. So they have to read it. And by the way, I forgot to do
I
that.
see.
And in yes. So like if you try, because I tried that before, like you try to have a hook sentence and start with a story and make it creative. And then what happens? Like, you know, spend a lot of time writing the introduction, attracting them to read what? You didn't have time to complete what like you needed to write. You see my point? So the hook sentence is so good when you are, as I told you, at ease, at home, writing like a project or writing an essay that would be evaluated for college or somehow. For sure, you can use a hook sentence, you can use a quotation, you can ask a question. And also like inside, you can, in IELTS, you can ask a question if you don't know how to rephrase the idea. You know, if you don't know how to rephrase the idea, it's okay. You can ask a question. You see, it is important to do that. But if you already have ideas, so there is no need for that. You don't have to. Like why? Because the most important point to have time to edit your writing, to like to make sure that you don't make mistakes, to upgrade the level of your vocabulary. You see. So for sure, like the hook sentence is good for having a very good impression. But I mean, like in this context, like you don't need to convince them. They don't have to be convinced. This is their duty. They receive salaries for reading your essay, for evaluating it. You see my point? So always remember, in the introduction, don't mention reasons, don't mention numbers, except if it's like a shocking number. And you can put it at the beginning as a hook. But like, you know, if you're lucky, if you're so lucky to know statistics, to get some statistics about the topic you have in the test, it's good. You know, but it's even better to use such statistics when you try to convince them in body 2. So here,
Is it okay to make up statistics?
yes. It's fabricate. Yes, you can fabricate statistics. Yes, everyone does. Everyone does. But please be realistic. I mean, like when you fabricate some statistics, you can say according to a study conducted in Canada or in Australia over like, you know, last year, like the researcher found out that, and then like write whatever you want. Once I said that to one of my students, and she was Yemeni, and she said 99% of people are not satisfied with their jobs. I told her, like, I know that your study is fabricated. I am the one who told you to fabricate a study, but not to that degree. You know, like, don't say like 99% of people, like the study found out that 99% of people are not satisfied with their jobs. Sorry? Like, it's so fabricated. Like, I mean, like, everyone knows that it's fake. So if you like to fabricate a study, be moderate. Like, can say 51%, like 52%. But don't say like, you know, 99%. It's like none. Like, you know, no one gets 99%. You know, like no one gets 90%.
We have to cook it well.
Yes. And even we say that 99% of people agreed on someone or something, for sure it's a fake. You know, for sure it's a fake. So yes, we can fabricate the studies if we have nothing else to do. If you don't have enough convincing or like, you know, convincing ideas, yes, we can say according to one studies conducted in like big, you can say Australia or Canada or America. And even you can be more like, you know, a very good liar by saying, for example, conducted in kind of any center or any like, you know, college or like university. And somehow you can mention the name of the university and so on, say the found, and even you can fabricate the names of the researcher. But like there is no need for that. I mean, like if you don't have to, there is no need for that. But yes, you can do that. For sure, they're not going to look it up. They don't have time to look it up, see, oh, whether it's like real or not. But just, you know, it indicates that you're smart enough to do that. You got it? So again, the introduction should not include reasons, should not include a lot of details. The introduction should be mainly to introduce the topic and mention your opinion. Is it clear? Is it clear? And in order to do that, remember to have paragraphing. So again, this one is too short. The introduction here is too short, and it doesn't contain any, like, you know, like it doesn't contain any general idea about the topic. And for those like S1 and S2, like there is no paragraphing at all, you know, like here. So the one from the very beginning, he's not going even like, you know, to continue reading it. Like he had to continue reading it, but like there is no need for him, like, you know, to minus marks. Like they will minus a lot of marks. So what else here? Like something just like because yes, yes, the same here, the same here. This is one of the common mistakes. So please, when you write, make sure that you write for, yeah, this is here good. This intro, like here we have conclusion here, so it's good. But what about body 1? Where is body 1? Yeah, this is maybe this body 1. Okay, but here it's not okay. It's not good to start a sentence with but. It is not good to start a sentence with but. It is not wrong, but it is not strong. You got it? This is body 1. So where is the introduction? Here's the introduction. The problem here is that in the introduction is the same, both the introduction and body 1 is just one paragraph, which is like not good. You got it? So we're going to speak about them in details, but now, as I told you, we need to focus on the most important point. Is it clear concerning the introduction? Is it clear? Do you have any question concerning it?
Okay, so Miss Amal, are you going